countdown has begun and the stage is set. Biggest week of the season is here, and we welcome you to another hour of NFL Live. Dan Graziano here with Field Yates, Jason McCourty, Tim Hasselbeck, who's been on that screen behind me. He'll be around to talk some football here over the next hour. The Patriots have arrived, landing in San Jose yesterday ahead of their 11th Super Bowl appearance. Another familiar moment for a franchise built on this stage, but the focus now shifts to the health and the availability of their quarterback, Drake Maye. So for more on that, we'll check in with our Sal Palantonio.
Right now, the New England Patriots are on the practice field. Stanford University, Palo Alto, 90-minute practice. And, of course, there won't be a practice report today or a pool report. The pool reporter is not on the field at Stanford University. We won't know an update about Drake Maye until Wednesday. Clearly, he's an important part of their passing game, but also part of what they do in their run game. You must account for him as a runner. He led all quarterbacks with 63 quarterback scrambles this year, and he's been so productive in the postseason. Remember, against the Broncos did not have a good spy operation for Drake Maye. 6 of his 12 scrambles resulted in first downs.
I was sitting next to Sal for that game, and he definitely kept making that point about the spy plan for Denver. What a difference a year makes for New England. They went 4-13 last season, firing Gerard Mayo after just 1 year as head coach, and in comes Mike Vrabel, who won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots as a player. They overhauled the roster. They spent $209 million in guaranteed money on free agents. That was the most in the NFL. 30 of the players on their opening day roster did not play for them in 2024. And Drake Maye made a big jump in his sophomore season, leading the NFL in total QBR and completion percentage. His 17 wins are also the most ever by a first or second year quarterback. More on that Patriots payroll. We mentioned the $209 million in guaranteed money on free agents. Now they're in the Super Bowl. 2024, the Eagles were the team that spent the most in the offseason. They won the Super Bowl. So, hey, maybe it's just as simple as spend the most and you win.
Rich gets richer.
I don't know.
But seriously, though, if we look back at this Patriots offseason from last year, if this were a report card, it would be straight A's. And what's so unique about this Patriots offseason, it's not just 1 or 2 moves. And it's not just guys at the top of the food chain pay-wise, because oftentimes guys who make a lot of money, really good players, right? The Patriots basically found value at every level. Look at the tiers here. $20+ million or more. Milton Williams, obviously tremendous. Morgan Moses, the ageless right tackle wonder. Christian Ellis re-signed after there was an offer sheet from the Raiders. Garrett Bradbury, who was cut by the Vikings. And some people thought this guy's no longer a starting center. He has been so solid for the Patriots in the middle of their offensive line, has not surrendered a sack. Their draft class has been exceptional as well. Jalen Hawkins, who you saw right there, has become a staple for their secondary. Name a mode to acquire a player this offseason. I think the Patriots basically aced it. Now, is this going to be the case going forward every single offseason? No, but this is how a team can go from 4-13 to 60 minutes away from playing in the Super Bowl. Big shout out to the front office, led by Elliott Wolf, who is a guy who I think at his core wants to draft some more. Spent big this offseason, and it really has paid off.
And it says a lot about, to your point, Elliott Wolf and then Mike Vrabel and the rest of that coaching staff. From being in locker rooms, the hardest thing is we'll look at it on paper and you'll say, you know what, they spent the most money in NFL and free agency history. But then you fast forward past the part of when you place all of these different personalities and these different people in one locker room, how are they all going to come together in such a short time to be competitive and go out there and try to win games in year one with a brand new system on both sides of the football? So I think a lot of that has to do with Mike Vrabel and his ability to get these guys to believe in one message. And then a credit to those veterans. You mentioned Morgan Moses, Stephon Diggs. These are the guys that have come to this team. Mac Hollins, yelling warrior at the send-off party.
guy Mac.
Those are the guys that have come in, and they have to be the ones to lead the charge, to say, hey, Vrabel, we understand what you're saying, and we're going to carry your message on to the younger guys, and that has happened this year. He challenged Drake Maye early in the season. Hey, I know you're only in year 2, but we need you to be more vocal. We need you to step up and lead the guys around you. We've seen that all come to fruition on the football field, and a lot of it has to do with Vrabel and the staff that he surrounded that team with.
Yeah, I completely agree, J-Mac. When you look at it, you bring in a bunch of new people. I mean, they needed to because talent-wise, they were deficient a couple of years ago. And so, you know, with new guys coming in, they all have different expectations about what their role is going to be, how much, you know, they're going to feel like they're valued and utilized. And so at that point, it becomes the job of the head coach and his staff to make everybody, you know, connected, to come together on it all. And that's not easily done. And so I think the thing that Vrabel has done a remarkable job of is he's pushed people. You mentioned, you know, Drake Maye. Some coaches don't do that with young quarterbacks because, you know, they feel like, look, this guy's kind of anointed. He may outlast me here. And so they don't have the hard conversations. I think the beauty of what Mike Vrabel's been able to do is he's had the hard conversations, but along with that, he's made guys feel like their role in what they do for the team is valued and appreciated. And so I think that combination is unique. And I think it's authentic with Vrabel. I think that's the other part of it, you know, that ends up being undeniable. And so by doing that, he's taken a team that, quite frankly, was really bad a year ago, with a quarterback that really had a rookie season that you had to basically just throw away, much like Trevor Lawrence had to throw away his rookie year. But the turnaround, because of the environment that's been built around him, is absolutely remarkable.
J-Mac, that Seattle offense, what's been the key to their success with Sam Darnold this season?
Sam Darnold has run this offense, and Kubiak has given them so many answers to the test, and it's been fun to watch the creativity that comes with it. And you go back to their game a week ago and look at where they put people. Cooper Kupp is now in the backfield. They're going to motion the running back out. For Sam Darnold, that now confirms we're getting man-to-man. Now as he's going through it, you're getting two double teams, one on Kupp, one on JSN at the bottom of the screen. So now I get one-on-one with Rashid Shaheed. I can take that shot, and he puts the ball beautifully down the sideline for a big gain. The second part, going against this New England Patriots offense, can you handle the pressure? They blitz on 40% of dropbacks since week 14. They're going to come after him. You see right there, pressure right in his face from Kobe Turner, puts the ball right on the money to Jake Bobo for a touchdown. So those things for Sam Darnold, you're going to have the answers. Can you go through your reads and get the ball where it needs to be? Now, when pressure's in your face, can you get the ball out and make the throw in those crucial moments?
Sam's been amazing. As Alex Smith said, almost flawless last week in the NFC Championship game. He's also gotten a big boost from the running game. Zach Charbonnet goes down with a torn ACL. It's been the Kenneth Walker show, and he has been remarkable. A reminder of why he was taken in the second round. He's been such a tantalizing talent that I know those of us in the fantasy football community wish got the football more often. It's a strength-on-strength matchup, though, when they play the Patriots this upcoming Sunday. Is Milton Williams returned from a high ankle sprain late in the regular season, and the Patriots paid him $26 million per year last offseason. He signed the largest contract in the history of the Patriots franchise. Yes, J-Mac made slightly less than $106 million when he played in New England. That being said, he may right now be viewed as perhaps a little bit of a discount. He has been remarkable for the Patriots, worth every penny and then that much more. So it has been two units that maybe during points of this season were not viewed as a strength. The Patriots' run defense did fall down a little bit in the second half. They have resurrected, and the running back room led by Kenneth Walker III has been great as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Phil, because look, there's not a bigger Drake Maye fan on the planet than me, but like the reality is the best player on the Patriots is probably Milton Williams. And, you know, we just don't always talk about, you know, the guys that are playing on the D-line is you know, being the guys that are going to impact the game the absolute most. But to me, that's what I think this is going to end up being about for New England defensively. Look, Seattle's really struggled at a few spots on their offensive line throughout the season. They've shown some improvement, but right guard has continued to be a problem. So I just think in general, when you look at New England's front seven, you think about, you know, you mentioned the big contract of Williams, but like they spent other money in free agency, you know, in that front, and they've been absolutely outstanding. That to me is if you're winning on first down, now it's second and long, now you're leading into, you know, 3rd and 8+ scenarios. Look, as great as Sam Darnold has been this season, that's not an environment that anybody really wants to live in. And so I think that is kind of the matchup and kind of between, you know, when Seattle has the ball and New England's on defense that really could end up having as much of an outcome on this game as anything else.
Second straight Super Bowl for Milton Williams, too. So, you know, he's obviously living right. Speaking of that, Joe Fortenbaugh is our betting expert, and we mentioned he's here today. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We have to go to break. So, no, I'm kidding. Right, he wants to break down this matchup. Tell us what we can expect.
I was going to say, can I get some lunch, please? I don't even know what I'm doing here.
What should we be looking out for on the betting side?
I love where Tim's at. I love where Field's at when it comes to Milton Williams. The operative word here is going to be splits, not just what Graziano does to loosen up for a hosting gig, but what you see from Milton Williams on and off the field this season. This is every single game for the regular season, 17 games. I also want you to listen to this. 12 games played, 5 games missed. In the 12 games he played this year, Patriots gave up 82 rushing yards per game. 5 games he missed, 146 rushing yards per game. You take that information, which has been prepared in a graphic specifically for NFL Live as we channel our very own Sal Paolantonio.
That was very good.
We ask ourselves, how are we going to go ahead and bet it? Kenneth Walker, who you just mentioned, rushing prop opened at 82.5 yards, been plummeting. Why? No Zach Charbonnet, you would think everyone want to bet the over. Down to 72.5 because of Milton Williams, because of this Patriots defense. They showed up big against Houston, the Chargers, and Denver in the playoffs. I'd be looking to bet the under on Kenneth Walker's rushing yards.
Tougher secondary, too, than what Sam Darnold faced against the Rams in the NFC Championship game, fair to say?
Absolutely, and play style as well. Like this New England Patriots defense and their secondary, they're going to play man-to-man. They're going to be in your face throughout, and they're going to blitz you. When you talk about Milton Williams, there's not only going to be him coming at you, they're going to send 6 and 7 guys with those max blitz looks, and they have the guys in the back end that they feel very confident, from Christian Gonzalez to Carlton Davis to Marcus Jones, to be able to cover Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp and company. So there's going to be a different style of game where the Rams 2 weeks ago, they didn't really blitz Sam Darnold at all. He had all the time in the world to be able to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, you talked about the shifts, right? Week 14 was the date that you referenced with Patriots have really dialed up the pressure. It's been consistent during the playoffs. They have been bringing the heat on opposing quarterbacks. It has worked. Obviously, the C.J. Stroud nadir was as low as it gets for quarterback play in the playoffs, but they really contained Justin Herbert. No touchdowns allowed in that game. And I get it, backup quarterback. And yes, the weather was atrocious against Denver just a couple of Sundays ago. But this Patriots defense, for all the talk about the defenses they faced, statistically, it's been the best defense in the NFL this postseason.
Listen to what his former teammate, Justin Jefferson, had to say about that.
Everyone knows the difficulty of the quarterback position this year, of how we was dealt it. But of course, you know, having a quarterback that's already had the season under his belt with us, knew the plays, knew the playbook, knew the players, you know, of course, throwing to me, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, all of these guys. I definitely felt like we would have done better.
Field, I'm not sure he's going out on a limb there, saying they would have done better. What do you think of those comments?
It reminds me of just how urgent Minnesota has to be to get this quarterback situation right this upcoming offseason. And if that's developing J.J. McCarthy further, I trust Kevin O'Connell's quarterback opinions implicitly. If that's the answer, then I'm going to give it one more season. But if they are saying internally, listen, we had to play him this year, we had to kind of play our hand with J.J. McCarthy, but we have enough evidence now that we think the other option, whatever that other option is better, then you got to take that option right now. He is the 10th overall pick in the draft 2 years ago. Doesn't matter anymore. You need to do what's right, because Justin Jefferson is a wide receiver who never, ever does anything to put the team in a bad light. He will never, he hasn't requested a trade, hasn't badmouthed other players. He has been as professional as you could be. The frustration, though, I think it started to become obvious, right? How could you not be frustrated if you are Justin Jefferson? Let's also acknowledge that, like, this is a roster, like, they spent a lot of money last year on 30-plus-year-old defensive tackles. This is not a team that's saying to itself, like, yeah, you know what, like, this is year 2 of a build-up to an eventual postseason appearance. This is a team that I think viewed itself coming into last season as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They better get things right to ensure that's the case this upcoming year.
And I think, to your point, the type of person and veteran Justin Jefferson is, he has multiple times had J.J. McCarthy's back and talked up J.J. McCarthy. So I don't think his words are any of an attack at J.J. McCarthy or the future at that quarterback position. But to your point, Phil, with the frustration, you look at Justin Jefferson's numbers this year, he had more yards and touchdowns back in 2023 when he only started 9 games. So, like, that's the level of frustration for him and this team, because they were in win-now mode. They made moves last offseason to try to surround the quarterback and J.J. McCarthy to go win, to get those 2 2 games at the end of the season better to give themselves a better position in the playoffs to try to attack a Super Bowl. So I think for Justin Jefferson, when now you're sitting back and you've gone through your season and you're watching Sam Darnold get ready to play in the Super Bowl, like that's what you were envisioning for yourself this year. Yeah. So I think those words were just truth. And it was just a little bit of the frustration of what that season was like for him out there on the football field.
There's an account on X with the handle Drake Maye Lover, and we don't know who it is, which means we can't rule out the possibility that it's Tim Hasselbeck.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't put this graphic together. Maybe that's on that account.
12 days, yeah.
The music in the background. Okay, Tim.
Tim, you referenced it earlier. You've been a pretty big fan of Drake Maye for a while now. You want to take a victory lap now that he's in the Super Bowl?
I appreciate the opportunity for the victory lap. No, there's still a lot of football for this guy to play, and quite frankly, like he hasn't played great in the postseason. In fact, I think he's probably played poorly, and I think some of it comes across when you hear him talk after games about his disappointment in how he played. Now, look, I loved him coming out of college. Obviously, the physical skills are there, in spades. I think the other aspect of it for him is, and he kind of touched on it, I think how he's wired is he's wired to compete, and I don't believe that the magnitude of the level of competition or the expectations are something that he'll ever shy away from. I don't think he was raised that way. I don't think he grew up in an environment that way. And that's why I think in these situations where he's played poorly because he's turned the football over, but then they need him to make a play late in the game, he's just kind of unfazed by the struggles that he's had. And so, look, I think that I said it pre-draft. He's probably the best prospect that I ever evaluated in all my time, 18 years or whatever it's been at ESPN. I think he's that talented, that capable, that good. And now I think that, you're kind of seeing some of even his demeanor in the interview with Kimberly of just being like, yep, we're going to the Super Bowl. He's pretty calm. He's going to handle it. And the magnitude of the moment, I don't think is ever going to be too much.
And Tim, it may not be a surprise to you that he is now playing for a potential first Lombardi trophy. But this is ahead of schedule, right? Like, we're talking about a 23-year-old quarterback. He's the second youngest starting quarterback, will become the second youngest starting quarterback in Super Bowl history. Only Dan Marino was younger when he started the Super Bowl very early on in his career. Has it been perfect? Far from it. But does he have an opportunity to seize the moment and do something that Tom Brady used to do, which was, and the Patriots talk about this in scouting all the time, clutch production, 4th down, got to have a situation, 2-minute offense, late in the game, late in the Super Bowl. Nobody was more stoic and ready to seize that moment, more so than Tom Brady. It's got a long way to go, does Drake Maye, to be anywhere close to Tom Brady's resume. But the first step is getting the first one, and I know it's been ugly so far this postseason, but Drake Maye has a chance to completely rewrite any narrative about how the Patriots got here and what he has done to get them there with a big performance and a win on Sunday afternoon against the Seahawks.
There's no question about that, but he is dealing with a shoulder injury, limited in practice all last week. We have no indication that he won't play in the game, but do you think it's the kind of thing that could limit him?
Potentially, yes, and I think that's going to be huge for them in this game because when you talk about their postseason play, the defenses he's played against, I think that's been a big reason of why he has struggled. Now, Josh McDaniels with 2 weeks to go, it's up to him to come up with ways to slow down the Seahawks pass rush. One of those ways are screen passes, getting the ball and getting those defensive linemen to get up the field and then putting it right over the top of them. Another part is when you talk about his shoulder, in crucial moments, they have relied on Drake Maye's legs, whether that is a 4th down in a Denver game, whether that's in a red zone for him running for a touchdown, whether that was an option play against the Chargers to pick up a 1st down on 3rd down. Drake Maye has done so much damage with those legs. And I think what both you guys have hit on is his confidence. From when he first stepped foot in the New England area in Foxborough, you've seen that. And I think the guys around him have all bought into that, of the type of player he is and the type of person he is, that he's going to rise to the occasion in those moments.